Hi everyone, this is Ravinder, lecture 9, week 9. This is our last session in PHP. Today we are going to actually learn PHP include and how to manage the state. Right, so this week we are going to have two topics basically. The first topic is PHP includes, and second topic is how we're going to manage state between clients and the server. Now, PHP include is a kind of a feature in PHP programming language that allows the developers to insert the content of one PHP file into another PHP file, right? So this can be useful for reusing PHP codes or HTML codes, or including common elements such as headers or footers in multiple pages of your web page. So to include a PHP file, the developer can use a term called include or require statement followed by a kind of a file path, right? So the include statement will include a specified file and continue executing your PHP script even if the file is not found. Sometimes we can use the require statement that will hold the script executing and producing the fatal errors if the file is not found. So that's what we are going to learn the first part. And in the second part, we are going to learn how you're going to manage the state between client and the server. Now, PHP or HTTP requests or HTTP, we usually says it's a stateless, right? So PHP, like most web programming languages, is generally we actually considered stateless, right? What do you mean by the stateless? So stateless means that each request sent to the PHP script right through the HTTP request is processed independently without the server keeping a track of any previous requests or session, right? So as a users, we actually regularly interacting with different web pages. So sometimes the server can't keep remembering all these requests, right? So they can't keep track, right? We don't need that, right? So once the response is sent back to the client, the server forget about that particular request. Um, um, so that's what usually happens. So while the PHP itself does not have a built-in support for sessions or other stateful features, so it does provide a mechanism for developers to implement stateful functionality if needed. For example, if developers can use cookies or session variables to maintain state between requests, right? But however, it's important to note that these mechanisms require kind of explicit programming and are not automatic, right? So we need to include that in our PHP scripts, right? So that's what we are going to learn in the second half. So the statelets basically can both strength and weaknesses of web application. On the one hand, it makes it easier to scale the web applications horizontally by distributing a kind of requests across multiple servers, because each request can be handled independently, right? On the other hand, it can be make it more difficult to implement certain types of functionality that rely on maintaining state between requests, such as shopping carts or maybe user logins, etc. So that's what we are going to learn in the second half of the session.